can't remember if there's ever been a Nigerian woman as powerful as she was.
How did one Nigerian woman become one of the most powerful people in the world today?
You say give woman a chance and see what she has done. She has done what 10 men could not do.
The country is no stranger to women who have touched power. We have seen senators, ministers, billionaires, and behind-the-scenes political enforcers. Women like Stella Odua, Dizani Alison Madueke, and Remi Tinubu have in various ways sparked admiration, controversy, and critique, which could either be for their roles in governance or proximity to it. They are boardroom queens who wield influence in silence, women who run oil blogs under initials you will never trace, and first ladies who ruled with more authorities than their elected husbands. Some are respected, some are adored, some are feared, but only within their jurisdiction. They do not command disrespect beyond their lanes. Then there is Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the woman who doesn't need a title to remind you who she is. She's not a first lady, not a party chieftain. She's not a senator trading decorum for propaganda. She does not run on any man's engine. She's not here because who she's married to or the cycle she's mingling with. Yet, her name rings like a verdict. And not just in Nigeria, but also across the world's most powerful financial rooms. So the question is, who is she really? And why is she the most feared woman in Nigeria today, and even beyond? From Umuahia to the World Bank, before Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala got the titles and her confrontations with billion-dollar interest and powerful subsidy empires, and before President learned to speak her name with careful tone, this woman was just a girl born in Ogwashi Ukwu, Delta State in 1954. But even that, the beginning was far from ordinary, because Ngozi Okonjo entered the world through a lineage that holds both intelligence and royalty. Her father, Professor Chukwu Okonjo, was not only a renowned academic, he was also Obi of Ogwashi Ukwu, a respected traditional ruler with great influence. From her earliest days, education wasn't a choice, it was a tradition. And she carried the tradition with so much zest, at a time when the thought of African girls attending Ivy League University seemed like a distant imagination. Ngozi walked into the Harvard University and graduated in 1976 with top honors, but she didn't stop there. She stepped even deeper into the challenge, earning a doctorate in economics from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a school known for stretching even the brightest minds, and she stood taller. Her path to a global relevance started at the World Bank. It wasn't just a chance to hold a position for her. She advanced with intention, with grit, and with dream that went far beyond the borders of her continent. Eventually, she rose to the role of managing director, making her the second most powerful person in the entire institution, overseeing key operations in Africa, South Asia, and Europe. In that position, she didn't simply stand for Nigeria. There she redefined what it meant to be Nigerian. Still, while she stood firm in global institutions, she didn't stop her from nurturing something even more rare. She built a home, held on to a stable marriage, and raised children who thrived in her care. In a political climate where many lost themselves for access or approval, Ngozi navigated the dirty waters of Nigerian politics without a single verified scandal tied to her name. That alone itself is nothing short of remarkable thing. Here are the key points as to why she is not just the most feared woman in Nigeria, but she's also revered. No doubt, Nigeria is a country that pushes reformers to their limits. It wears honest people. It invites intelligent women to the table, only to dare them to challenge what they find. Most quietly gives into corruption while pretending to serve, thereby protecting the same broken system they were meant to fix. But Ngozi Okonjo was different. Her real test began in 2003 when President Olusegun Obasanjo appointed her as Minister of Finance. But she wasn't there just to approve spending. She came to change how things were done. And what she found was deeply flawed. In a government system where money often disappears and shady deals happen behind closed doors, she immediately became a problem to those who benefited from the confusion. She started asking the question nobody wanted to answer. She spotted strange gaps in the budget, questioned how oil money was being used, and began speaking openly about accountability. This is a word many in power didn't want to hear. Her influence grew even stronger when President Goodluck Jonathan brought her back. this time with more authority. She wasn't just a Minister of Finance anymore. She was also named Coordinating Minister for Economy, a role that gave her full control over how Nigerians' money was managed. And she took that responsibility with all seriousness. One of her most important changes was introduction of Treasury's single account, or TSA, which was a bold move to stop government ministries and agencies from keeping money in scattered and hidden accounts. With the TSA, all government funds had to pass through a single account, making it harder for people to steal without being noticed. The moment this was implemented, those who were secretly taking money started to panic. She faced serious backlash, but she stayed focused. Then there was issue of ghost workers. Over 50,000 fake names were found on the government payroll, people who didn't exist. Fraud rings had used these names to collect money for years, enriching themselves at the country's expense. With one strong policy decision, she cleared them out. That single act hurt government groups who had built their careers and wealth around the scam, ending a long-running scheme that has fed corruption for decades. But maybe the toughest fight came in 2012 during the fuel subsidy crisis. Many Nigerians believed the subsidy was helping the poor. But the truth is, it was a system that allowed a few rich people and individuals' company to make huge profits in the name of public service. She spoke up, she pushed for reforms, and when protests broke out, when people were misled by lies in the media, and when her name was dragged through the mud, Ngozi stood her ground. Others stayed quiet or disappeared from the scene, but she faced the nation, explaining the facts and told the people the truth. Without that, we know that honesty often brings punishment in this country. And so she became a target. But she didn't give up, she didn't complain, she didn't leak private information or try to defend herself through backdoor tactics. She simply kept working with more clarity, more transparency, and stronger results. Ngozi Okonjo didn't enter Nigerian politics just to survive its games. She came to confront them, and she did it without powerful backers, without paying bribes, and without compromising her values. And that's what makes her such a serious threat, not just to individual politicians, but to the entire system that depends on people keeping quiet. Let's evaluate the major reason why she's the most feared woman in Nigeria. Firstly, she answers to no one in Nigeria. Power often comes from pledging loyalty to political figures or secret power brokers in Nigeria, being close with the people who pull strings behind the scenes. But Ngozi Okonjo has no one pulling her strings. She isn't part of any political camp. No one can say that they helped her rise to exchange for loyalty or silence. She didn't get to where she is by begging for favors or joining political groups. She made it on her own through her competence and not through connections. That makes her dangerous to the system because people who aren't controlled can be predicted or manipulated. Secondly, you can't bribe her. The fastest way most politicians are tamed in the country is by offering them big contracts, important appointments, or luxury gifts to make them quiet. But none of that worked on Ngozi. Even when she stood alone, she refused to compromise her values. Thirdly, wielding power at the top of global trade. Many powerful Nigerians lose their relevance the moment they leave government. Once the convoy stops moving and the title disappears, so does their influence. But this wasn't the case of Dr. Ngozi. She didn't fade away after leaving office. Instead, she moved even higher. In 2021, the international community did something Nigeria couldn't bring itself to do. It gave her the highest seat in global trade. She became the Director General of the World Trade Organization, making history as both the first African and the first woman to ever lead the institution. Today, as the head of WTO, she played a key role in overseeing how countries buy, sell, and move goods across the world. Her decisions affect trade routes in Asia, manufacturing in Europe, shipping in America, and oil import policies in Africa. World leaders don't just meet with her, they wait to hear what she has to say. Even though she now works on the world stage, her influence is still deeply felt in Nigeria, quietly but strongly. She may not live in Aso Rock or hold a government position anymore, but she can still tell when something isn't right. She's not in charge of budgets, but she understands when the numbers don't add up. Ngozi continues to mentor young professionals, give advice to leaders, speak at high-level conferences, and remain active in same global finance space that decide whether countries get loans, economic support, or recognition. Her voice still carries weight in institutions like IMF, the World Bank, and G20, and unlike many Nigerian officials, her name brings confidence, not suspicion. The final truth is that in Nigeria, freedom is often dangerous. It exposes the dependence of others. It reveals who is only powerful as long as they stay in line, who is only relevant because they obey. But Ngozi doesn't need any of that. She doesn't have to play along. She already stood in front of the world, led the most powerful trade bodies, advised its biggest banks, and walked through its highest halls of decision making. Her identity is not tied to a seat in Aso Rock or a party favor. It's tied to results, and results doesn't lie. That's why the system fears her, because they cannot remove what they didn't place. They cannot silence what they never empowered. And they cannot manipulate a woman who is not chasing survival or pushing for change. Freedom makes her dangerous, not to the people, but to the system that depends on fear, control, and silence to survive. Her freedom means that she can speak when others shrink. It means she can walk away while others beg to stay. It means she can tell the truth, even when everyone else is protecting a lie. So in the end, it's not her title that makes her powerful, nor it's her global awards or economic policies. It's simply the fact that Ngozi Okonjo is free. She's free in a nation built to cage the strong, and that kind of freedom is actually terrifying. With this, do you believe that someday, if a woman was to be president of Nigeria, do you think the power she wields still give her an easy win? So to the end, if you believe in the truth and want to be part of the truth, don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, bye for now.